Welcome back to Tiny Grimes Games, and I'm here with another Star Wars Destiny video. And today we have big, huge news. FFG went to the Gamma conference this last weekend. One of our representatives, Pair of Dice Games, actually a shop down in San Diego, was there, captured video, and so now we know exactly what FFG had to say about a lot of their games, but more importantly, and all we really care about today, is Star Wars Destiny. And so coming out of this, there was big, huge news and a spoiler as well. So let's start with the news. The big news is that, thankfully, FFG is doing what I've been talking about that I hope they do, that they double down on their own success. You know, there was fear that they were going to hedge towards failure, but it looks like they are not. They've actually have another factory up and running now, making Destiny product. They've gone ahead and they have a new wave coming of Awakenings, and they said in the article that came out, they said it's a limited run. Okay, now at this conference they said it is a very significant run. So it's a little bit unclear what that means, but I would think the words very significant means pretty darn large. It seems like the word limited was not supposed to be a synonym for small, but rather a word designating that as a one print run. Now, why you would write a press release trying to assuage people's fears by using a synonym for small to describe an upcoming run is beyond me. But thankfully, they have indeed clarified this. It looks like it's going to be a, quote, significant run, which would be great. We could really use a lot more Awakenings. I know a lot of groups, I think, are suffering a bit from the problem of if all the great players have what they need and all the more casual players don't have what they need, the casual players are getting smashed. The casual players are not coming quite as often. And plus, there's nothing really to play for. Once the kits are gone, there's no product. There's no way to draft. You're just going to play tournaments for $5. Not that exciting, right? It's still fun Destiny, but I think a lot of people would rather just play Destiny to play Destiny at that point. All right, so the other bit of news we got is that Spirit of Rebellion will be a much bigger production than Awakenings was. So there, if anyone was afraid out there that that Spirit of Rebellion was going to be small, don't worry. They've had a factory up and running to print this bad boy for quite a while now. That's what I predicted was going to happen. That they would print plenty of Spirit of Rebellion. I think it'll be on the shelves for quite a while. I do not think it will sell out. I think it will stick around. Maybe the first wave will sell out because they are going to release it in waves. But I don't think there's going to be a problem where we can't get enough Spirit of Rebellion. So bottom line is, I think FFG did a really good job at this conference letting people know, using the right language, right? It's language is such an important tool. If you're going to describe the print run of Awakenings and it's big, don't use words that make it sound small. Use words that make it sound big. So they've done that. Hopefully they've clarified. For people out there who were worried that the sky was falling and that there were indications, hopefully these are signs to you that the sky is not falling. It should be okay. The sky is only falling for those people who are buying collections for $500, hoping to flip them for $800 in a couple of weeks. That is probably not going to happen quite as much. Okay, let's talk about the spoiler then, because it's always awesome to talk about spoilers. And we have this guy, Finn. Finn looks really cool. We haven't seen him before. All right, just kidding. This is the quarter 3 press, the quarter 3 game night kit, or however they say that. So there's an alt art Finn, which looks pretty cool, actually. Finn in his stormtrooper outfit with the bloody hand on his face, or the bloody trail of fingerprints. But we do have a new card. We have Guard. And so Guard is pretty interesting. I'm pretty sure we saw the cost of it was 0. I'm not 100% sure on that now. But it looks interesting. If it does cost 0, it says remove, first of all, it's Hero Blue. Remove one of your blue dice, and it looks like it's saying showing melee damage X, melee damage, whatever that number is, to remove the letter A, opponent's dice equal to the V, which has got to be value, of value which you just removed. So something that fits in there is to remove any number of opponent's dice. And I think that's probably what it is. Anything other than that would be fairly weak, where you have to remove your own die to remove one of your opponents. And now you might say, what are you talking about? He doesn't like you is amazing, and that's exactly what it does. But it's not, right? He doesn't like you is the most flexible removal in the game. It is remove any one of your dice to remove one of your opponent's dice. This is remove a melee damage die to remove dice showing the same value. So that's a very limiting play, and it needs to be much more than 1-to-1. Removing a 2 melee damage side to remove something else is not quite enough. But if you can, blow out a 2 focus and a 2 melee and a 2 resource die by giving up some damage, suddenly maybe that's worth it. I don't really like this card. I have a feeling we won't see a lot of play with this card. If it was in Awakenings, it would definitely see play, just because there's not enough removal. But I'm assuming there will be enough new cool events where we'll look at this and go, maybe this deck, right? I'm running Rey. She tends to roll her darn +2 melee that I can't use. I'm not running her with Qui-Gon. This is a decent removal card for this deck. I think we might see that, or other circumstances like this, maybe with Chirrut or something. But I don't think this is going to be one of those cards like a He Doesn't Like You, where you're like, yellow, 2 copies, He Doesn't Like You. Yes, moving on. This is a lot more limited and situational. It has to be a blue die. It has to be melee damage. You're giving up damage specifically to remove perhaps only one of their dice. I don't know. It could be amazing. Maybe I'm going to be wrong. I guess a best case scenario might be you roll the 1 melee side and just blow up their whole board, right? They roll a 1 disrupt, a 1 resource, a 1 melee, and a 1 range, and you take them all. That would be amazing. So it sort of feels like the light side, Feel Your Anger, but even more situational than Feel Your Anger, which is already often too situational. So we'll see. I'm not real high on the card. It has a cool image though. What's his name? Plo Koon or Plo Koon? I can never remember his name. Plo Koon we're gonna go with. It looks cool. But overall I'm not super psyched about the card. But the bottom line is the news was very, very significant. It looks like we should have enough Awakenings. We should have enough Spirit of Rebellion. And if that is the case, we saw that officially the fall sales report came out. Destiny's 4th. Could it possibly move to 3rd and past Yu-Gi-Oh! In the spring? I mean, maybe. If there's a huge reprint of Awakenings and Spirit of Rebellion is plentiful, and there, by the way, there's new starters coming out that will be available, I think, on the 30th. It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I don't think it will yet, but I think we're moving there. So it is actually, this press release, or this conference was such an exciting moment. It flipped the script, right? The press release that came out got people really worried. I think coming out of this conference, people should be really, really excited. I'll go ahead and put a link to the actual video evidence of this below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time on Tiny Grams Games.